Am I the asshole for not giving my sister her wedding dress because she didn't invite my underage son? I, 40 male, have a sister, 30 female, who is getting married in a week. The groom proposed to her a year ago at a family dinner that left everyone speechless, but very happy for them, as they are longtime companions. During this dinner, my sister asked my son, 17 male, to make her wedding dress. My son has always loved design and fashion. He took technical courses in these areas and sewing, and even his friends keep asking for his clothes because they are so beautiful. He agreed but said that he needed time and that he would need her opinion constantly. At first, my sister was very annoying. My son drew about 50 dress designs in a month, and she only liked one, which he continued with. He sewed it with great quality fabric, which I paid for, as I wanted to get involved in a certain way. For 5 months, he made several adjustments to suit her wishes, as she always complained about something. After a while, he arrived on the final model, and it was just amazing. My mother cried seeing my sister in the dress, and I confess that I almost got emotional too. The problem was that last week, my son came to talk to me about the wedding invitation that had not arrived for him, but for other family members. I thought maybe he didn't need one, but it still felt weird. I messaged my sister raising this issue, and she replied that she didn't want any underage people at her wedding because there would be alcohol. I asked if she was going to make an exception for my son, but she cut me off and said no. There are no children in our family. My son is the only minor, so I didn't see any sense in this rule for family members. And to make matters worse, my son was very sad and cried because he spent months on this dress and couldn't go to the wedding. I was very upset and told my sister that she should look for another dress as soon as possible, as she would no longer wear the one my son made.
I know that's right.
She called and yelled at me saying I was being unreasonable and that I couldn't do this. My mother called me saying I should deliver the dress and follow the rules, but I didn't and hung up on her. Because of this, the family is divided. Many agree with me and condemn my sister's action, saying she could make an exception, but another part says I'm unreasonable and I'm spoiling her big day. I don't think I'm being wrong, but just rational and paying her back in kind. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking my trans brother to be my bridesman? My 27 female brother, Jake, fake name, 27 male, transitioned from female to male 3 years ago. I was and am completely supportive of him. I'm getting married next year, and I've been gathering my bridesmaids team. My twin sister is going to be my maid of honor, and it was also important for me to have Jake with me at the altar. So I asked Jake if he would be my, quote, bridesman and be part of my side of the wedding party. I didn't think it would be an issue at all, but Jake freaked out. Jake said that he should be a groomsman for my fiance because he doesn't want to be seen with my bridesmaids, all 3 of whom are girls, because people will think he was a girl. He accused me of asking him to be a bridesman because I still thought of him as a girl, which isn't true. I explained to him that it didn't make any sense for him to stand by my fiance because they've only met a handful of times, and my fiance already has a budget-approved number of groomsmen. And besides, Jake is my brother, and I want him to stand by and support me during the wedding. Plus, before Jake transitioned, I always planned to include him in my wedding, so why should his gender change anything about that? I see his argument that it might make him feel dysphoric, but having bridesmen is becoming a more common tradition. Besides, he has a beard and he'd be wearing a suit, so there's no way anyone would think he was a girl. Jake and I fought back and forth for a while, and I finally snapped and told him he couldn't be in the wedding at all if he didn't want to stand on my side. He called me an asshole, and it made me feel awful. I guess I needed to vent about it to strangers. So, am I the asshole? I hate being a man. It is the source of all of my problems.
All of them. Every single one.
Male 26. Life is going fine otherwise. Have a good education and a good job. Have hobbies and interests. Live a functional life. Except I am single and hate being a man. Here's the thing. I have never been in a relationship. In part because it is rigged. Women are the employers. Men are the job seekers. Men have to do all the work and take self-esteem hits. Women can just go sit around and twiddle their thumbs and receive offers and valued and worshipped day in and day out for existing. Because of this, men end up having to settle for losing deals, which I have refused. I am an educated professional who overcame several challenges to get where I am, who is good with kids and has not slept around because I wanted a life partner with a special someone.
Please.
Another educated professional who has not slept around and is also good with kids, or something equivalent. I could have had that if I were a woman, but instead, since I am cursed into being a man, I am denied that. Rather, I am expected to be with someone who makes less, due to male provider role, is worse with kids, has worse domestic skills, and has slept around and given her best years to a bunch of frat guys, and now wants a good, stable guy. How am I supposed to be happy in such a relationship, knowing I am being exploited? I bring a lot to the table and deserve what I put in. If I were lucky enough to get to be a woman, that would not be a problem. I'd get valued for existing, have a lineup of offers, and could get a man who brings more to the table than I do. I could also easily be the asshole who sleeps around with the hot guys when young and then marries the good, stable guy, getting the best of both worlds, while most guys struggle with loneliness in their formative years and are stuck with a losing deal. If I were a woman, I would have less trouble finding a job, could always get someone to take me out when I am lonely, would have a closer friend network, and would just be valued and loved more. 5 years ago, I met a woman who was perfect for me in every way. We were perfect for each other. She was smart, ambitious person with good values and good with kids. We were foils of each other. But because she was more privileged, she quite likely rejected me. Because unlike conventional wisdom, it is actually women who are more shallow than men. Men care about vibe and fit. Women care more about looks, status, money, hypergamy. And since she was an attractive, rich white girl, while I was an average-looking, visible minority, middle-class guy, I failed the LMS hypergamy, so she rejected me despite how perfect we were for each other. And no, I don't like her because of her looks. I liked her because we got along really well and had a lot in common, and we were just perfect for each other.
Am I the asshole for wanting my own room? I and my fiance are moving into a small 3-bedroom house together in a couple of months. When discussing the use for one of the spare rooms in our soon-to-be house, I mentioned wanting to turn it into a bedroom for myself when I want to be alone. My fiance was confused and said he wanted to use a spare room for an at-home gym instead. The other spare room will be an office for when my fiance needs to work from home. I argued that he already has a claim over one of the spare rooms and that I should be allowed to use the other room for myself. He argued that the point of moving together was to share everything with each other and not just coexist in the same space. He said that he would change his mind on wanting a gym if we agreed to turn the second room into a guest bedroom and both of us can use when we want to be in our own space. I feel like I would still be sharing. If I have a room to myself to use and he wants to be alone at times, I can just go into my own room and give him the space he wants. We would be splitting expenses 50-50, so I don't think I'm being that unreasonable.
The bad guy for storming out of my baby shower after my boyfriend's family made me feel unwelcome. I'm 19 and currently 7 months pregnant with my first child. My boyfriend is 21 male and we're really excited. However, things didn't go as planned. Boyfriend's family is pretty traditional and they weren't too happy that we're having a baby out of wedlock. They've been pretty distant and cold towards us since the announcement, but I thought the baby shower would be a perfect chance for us to bond. Boy, was I wrong. The moment I arrived, my boyfriend's aunts made a snide comment about my age, how young mothers never knew what they're doing, and his brother asked if I was planning on getting a job after the baby was born. Things really came ahead when my boyfriend's mom gave me a gift bag that was filled with baby clothes, all pink. I said that we were having a boy. She goes, "Oh well, I just assumed since you're so young, you probably don't know the sex of your own baby." At that point I was done, made an announcement that I didn't feel welcome there and was leaving. My boyfriend tried to convince me to stay, but I was so upset. My boyfriend's family is calling me rude and ungrateful. I'm just really hurt they don't think I can care for my own child. Am I the bad guy? My wife bought a new car without consulting me. So my wife inherited $100,000 and before the check even cleared the bank, she picked out a $38,000 car to buy and then purchased it today, the second the check cleared. It's obviously her money and in the end she can do what she wants, but she made it clear that it is her money. I'm considering divorce because she left me totally in the dark about it and didn't even consider to ask what I thought or even let me look around with her. It also was incredibly stupid and short-sighted to have blown a third of her inheritance on a new car when we have 2 perfectly fine cars. The money could have been used for our family. So am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my mother-in-law she gave up on her family and it's her fault that she's alone? My husband and I have been married for 6 years, and at least 5 of those years have been almost no contact with his mother. I don't know the whole story, but his dad passed away when he was young and his mom remarried a man who was basically horrible, and he tried to tell his mother for years and she just wouldn't believe it. It got to the point where his own well-being we just couldn't be around her anymore. This week, after years of silence, she shows up at our doorstep. She said that she tried to call, but it was blocked. She was in tears and started crying about her husband was trashed her house and left her, and realized that her son was telling the truth. She begged to talk to my husband. Said that she had some nerve coming to our house to cry after throwing her son to the side. I said that she made her bed and now it's time for her to lay in it, and it wasn't going to be in my house. Got hysterical and left. Her coming to the door put my husband into a panic attack, and now he's too depressed to get out of bed. I really don't care for the woman. I played it in my head and I feel absolutely terrible. Berating someone never feels good. I've done things differently.